every way to defeat V1 Homelander in the finale. Listen, y'all, you know I cover superheroes. It's the inevitable that eventually your boy will be covering the boys on this channel. And listen, y'all, I've been watching season 5. So far it's pretty good. I personally like it. I know there's other opinions about it out there. Some people don't like it. They don't like the writing, how they did like Soldier Boy or whatever, like his character, trying to get him ready for that for Vought Rising, the spin-off series that they're planning for, I think, next year, that they're gonna be doing for Soldier Boy and all those other superheroes. Bombsight, who we just saw on the last episode. And I thought this video was interesting because I am really curious how they're going to defeat Homelander. Because listen, bro, man got the V. He got the V1, bro. He got it. The man is damn near a god at this point. I don't know how the hell they're going to beat him, but I would sure love to find out, bro. And like I said, y'all, shout out to Johnathan here for the vid. And this is going to be a very interesting video. I can't wait to see it. So without further ado, let's get right to the video here. Bruh. Oh man.
We are so
about to
cooked
die
because Homelander has V1 now.
Yo, I know one of the boys about to die. Who y'all think is gonna be? I've read the Reddit comments. Everyone's saying it's Frenchie. Now I hope not, because Frenchie is actually personally my favorite character in the entire series, or at least in terms of the boys, that group. Frenchie is without question my favorite character. From what I heard, he's supposed to sacrifice himself for Kimiko, and Homelander, I think, kills him. I think he's on that field. I think if it's not that field, it's going to probably be another big fight that's going to be in the next episode, where I guess somewhere in the mix of the the battle, everyone's fighting each other. Homelander I'm assuming he just charges right after Kimiko, and Frenchie gets in the way and dies. Ugh, that's crazy. Y'all let me know your theories. Just let me know your theories down below. Who you think's gonna die? I'm hoping it's not Frenchie, but it's looking like it is.
Butcher's entire plan relied on getting to V1 before Homelander and destroying it, and then using the virus on him. But now we're all the way back to square one. So I decided to look for every last way the boys can still defeat Homelander in the finale now that he has V1 in his system. If you haven't already, make sure that you're subscribed and like the video. So the first way is how most of us expected the boys to defeat Homelander before season 5 happened, which is Soldier Boy using his depowering blast on Homelander. And now that we've seen that Soldier Boy's power still strong,
I would say that Bombsight probably just as strong, maybe like a tier lower than Homelander. Because listen, he was putting on the work. He was giving Soldier Boy the work. Last episode, Soldier Boy, he was struggling for a little bit. He was legit struggling. Bombsight by himself took out the entire boys group. What looked like with ease, like it was nothing. Took out all of them. With his back to Soldier Boy, with his powers, his ability to take V1, whether it's the original formula of V1 by Frederick Vought or the compound V, the regular one that every other suit has. That's a good theory. I definitely agree with that. Soldier Boy, he gave him his powers, or gave him that super boost in terms of Homelander becoming immortal. Gave him the serum. He can take it back from him by getting rid of his powers. But I don't think Soldier Boy is gonna do it. I don't think he is, because of Clara or Stormfront. And apparently they're making it out to be Clara as Homelander's mom, which is weird because they got together, Homelander and Clara. That would be so weird if that's his mom, bro. That would just ugh. But yeah, I don't think Homelander is gonna get taken out, or at least his power is gonna be taken out by Soldier Boy. I don't think it's gonna happen.
V1 soups of their powers and immortality since he used it on Bomb Sight. Soldier Boy's power is still invaluable here. Of course, we know that Soldier Boy was the one to give V1 to Homelander, but with him switching sides every single episode, who knows? Soldier Boy might betray Homelander once again and use his depowering blast on Homelander. If not, then the finale is going to be a lot different than many of us imagined, because now we don't just have to defeat Homelander with V1 and increase durability, speed, and laser beams. We also have to figure out a way to also kill Soldier Boy if he's actually partnering up with Homelander. That would seem very, very difficult since they're
obviously it would be difficult. I don't think Soldier Boy could die. I think he's, out of every soup, I think he's like the most unkillable, because they already gave him the virus and didn't work on him. It like knocked him out for a good minute, but he got right back up, still has his powers. So yeah, I think out of all the soups, including that first generation of soups during that World War II era, the 1950s era, yeah, Soldier Boy is probably the safest, definitely, as of right now.
Both immune to the virus, and they're literally, respectively, number 1 and number 2 strongest in the verse, especially now that Bomb Sight's out of the question. Who else could even really take them on?
And that's so dumb they got rid of him like that, bro. That was so dumb. Because I would say it's between him, Soldier Boy, and Homelander that are the top strongest soups in the history of that universe, without question. And I would probably say Clara is either fourth or fifth in that category. Who else was stronger? It was that one girl that just got killed by Starlight, that can like blow up people just by looking at him. Cindy, yeah, the ball lady. Yeah, I would say she's fourth behind these guys here, and that other woman from Gen V. That's top 5, and Clara would be 6. Yeah.
So it seems like a pretty valid theory to think that Soldier Boy would flip again and depower Homelander. Going along with the depowering theory, there's also theories that one of the boys could get a version of Soldier Boy's powers. Maybe not exactly the same with the laser beam, the chest, but some form of depowering ability to take suit powers away the same way Soldier Boy does. I'm thinking either Kimiko or Butcher, or even MM could get Soldier Boy's blast. We know that Butcher and MM saw videos of the testing that they did on Soldier Boy, and they also know that it's the radiation that Soldier Boy endured for so long, which has allowed him to be able to take away suit powers. As we've also seen, the uranium chamber was also able to weaken Homelander even just for that short amount of time. Maybe Sister Sage or Stan Edgar is involved, but in some way they are able to accelerate the process that Soldier Boy went through, except for with one of the boys who has Compound V, to be able to get that radiation based power and use it on Homelander to be able to fry the V out of his system the same way Soldier Boy would. This theory predicts that Soldier Boy will not join the boys at all, or I guess not exactly not join the boys, but will not betray Homelander specifically. Another form of a power up could be Butcher gets a makeshift V1 from Sister Sage. A lot of people were questioning why Sister Sage couldn't just create V1 for Homelander, and it pretty much confirmed in the recent episode when Homelander tells Sister Sage, there's no way that Frederick Vought is smarter than you. Sister Sage could have made V1 probably. She just didn't want to give it to Homelander, and she was just playing dumb. She was just sandbagging him basically. So if Sister Sage was truly deceived by Soldier Boy and couldn't predict that he would give V1 to Homelander, maybe she has to go to her plan D. She has a lot of different makeshift plans, and maybe one of those plans involves giving Butcher the power because she would rather deal with Butcher than Homelander and Soldier Boy, which I would agree with. And if Butcher was able to get V1, we would be able to see a really cool scorched earth battle between Homelander and Butcher, which many of us have been waiting to see.
Yeah. And they also teased it in I think it was the opening of season 3. It's either the opening of season 3 or season 4, where they were sitting at Butcher's, I think his apartment or whatever, Homelander, he dropped in trying to intimidate him, and they sat down at that coffee table, and yeah, pretty much they were talking about how different they are from everybody else, and it eventually led to Butcher insinuating that they should have glorious, he said, blood and bone final battle. And I think it's funny that he mentioned blood and bone, because the last episode of The Boys ever is called Blood and Bone. So I think that can also be a tease that, yeah, the final battle will definitely be Butcher, some like glorious, legendary final battle between Butcher and Homelander.
Being able to see Butcher and Homelander at a relatively equal level and going toe-to-toe, that would be really sick. The next way they could beat Homelander involves the usage of some side characters that really haven't been as important as a lot of people would have thought. That is Marie and Ryan. So
and I was just talking about her. I forgot what her name was. Thank you, Johnathan here. That girl is powerful. I think she can manipulate blood in like she can do something with blood, like manipulate it, alter it, like something great, kind of like Scarlet in Mortal Kombat, which is like crazy. But she's meant to be, I think, like is just as powerful as Homelander, which she is, which is crazy. And I forgot to mention Ryan too. Ryan is also one of the strongest characters in the series. He's top 10. Definitely not top 5 because he's not obviously old enough. And it just seems like he's weaker than Homelander. Like that fight scene that they had at the that kid restaurant or wherever the name of that place was. They had that fight scene there in the season, and Ryan almost died. If Butcher wasn't there, Ryan would have died by Homelander. And considering now he has a V1, I'm pretty sure Homelander would have, if he had the V1 right there when he was fighting against Ryan would have probably died. He would have died.
I already know Ryan's lasers can damage V1 users. I mean, Ryan as a child was able to kill Stormfront with his laser
That's
beams.
true.
We've also seen Ryan be able to damage Homelander with his laser beams, and also Homelander, before taking V1, was able to laser into his own body. So we can assume that Ryan would at least be able to damage Homelander enough for Marie to use her blood manipulation on him.
Yep, Marie and her, that blood manipulation. I told y'all, she's like Scarlet from Mortal Kombat. That's what she reminds me of in terms of her powers. Crazy, bro.
Homelander, especially since she is also an Odessa project and she unlocked her power-up at the end of Gen V Season 2. So maybe the boys are losing the fight, and then Ryan shows up and he's able to laser Homelander, and Marie is able to take the V1 out of his blood system using her blood manipulation. That would be a nice way to incorporate these two characters we thought would be more important than they have so far, and to allow the other characters to finish off Homelander. Now, there's...
Yeah, that would be pretty smart. That was, I think option number 2 and 4 so far are the smartest. Using Marie and Ryan to finish off Homelander after the majority of the damage is done by the boys. And number 2 with Kimiko or one of the boys, Butcher, most likely probably going to be Butcher or Kimiko. They get Homelander's, they get Soldier Boy's blast power. Yeah, I think that's the direction that they're going to be moving towards in these last 2 episodes.
There's another theory involving Sister Sage, and that is a modified virus. This theory is that Sister Sage actually did plan for Soldier Boy to give Homelander the V1, and she was just pretending like she didn't want this to happen, and she can do the whole "this was all part of my plan" thing all over again. And the reason she wanted Homelander to get V1 is because she was working on a soup virus similar to the one Butcher had, except it only targets V1 users, which is very convenient because that would be able to take out Soldier Boy and Homelander, the 2 biggest threats that are now teaming up. And it would also make it so that we don't have to worry about Kimiko and Annie dying, which is a big piece of contention within the boys right now. And this would also be perfect irony because the last episode just talked about how immortality is a curse and how Bombsight wanted to have the Golden Geisha, his love interest, to be immortal, to live with him forever, but he changed his mind and Soldier Boy removed his immortality with the powers. So Bombsight actually just lost his V1, so it would be incredibly ironic and very satisfying to see that V1 actually was a curse, and Bombsight gets to have his happily ever after for however long that is with Golden Geisha, whereas Homelander and Soldier Boy have to suffer a horrible fate because they had V1 in their system. Now, I want to go into some hypotheticals for what could have been a way to defeat Homelander before this V1 thing. A lot of people talk about how Mal Chemical was able to knock Homelander out, which is kind of crazy because he's just some random soup we've never heard of. And we also randomly just got introduced to Bombsight, who is V1 user. He's immortal, he can fly, and he can even go toe-to-toe with Soldier Boy physically. And not only that, he hated him. So had the boys taken a different route, and for these past 2 seasons, the boys were actually seeking out other soups who hated Homelander / Vought and wanted to take it down, I think they actually could have had a pretty solid chance at just beating Homelander the good old-fashioned way, with Mal Chemical taking him out, Bombsight being able to go fight Homelander probably pretty evenly before the V1. I'm not saying this is how it should have been with a bunch of random side characters that we hadn't been introduced to, but I think it would have definitely been interesting to see a failed assassination plot against Homelander using these other soups. And of course, there's the alternate ending that a lot of people think, which is that Homelander wins. There is no way to beat Homelander with V1. He is
Oh my god. Yo, that would be so crazy. And also, that would be so crazy if he just flies into space and just destroys a whole city from there. Like that one poster showed him like with his arms crossed and he's just looking in space like, yeah, I really beat y'all. Yo, that would be crazy.
Unkillable. And in this theory, people think that Homelander taking over the White House and that image we saw of him in the trailer where he's just smiling in the White House is actually the final scene of the show, and it's just him literally winning and groveling in his success as he takes over the White House. This would be an incredibly dark ending. However, I don't think this is the way it will end. I think there is a correct way that they can do this. My biggest concern is not how they depower Homelander, but how they finally defeat him and kill him. And to me, they cannot use the virus on Homelander to win. Homelander reminds me of Voldemort from Harry Potter. They are both characters who thought of themselves as above humans. It's pretty similar because they both hate normal people and they want superpowered people to be on the top. But at their core, they are both just weak, traumatized humans with mental health issues, and they're nothing without their powers. The movies ruined Voldemort's ending by having him disintegrate instead of just falling to the ground and dying like a normal person. I don't want to see the same mistake used with Homelander. Using the virus cannot be the way Homelander dies because he would die as a suit. It'd be like him dying in a way that's above humans. I think thematically for Homelander's death to be meaningful, it has to be pitiful and normal like a regular weak human. He can't go out choking to death on a virus designed to kill super beings. That would, in a way, prove that Homelander was right and that he was better than everyone. He needs to just get the good old beatdown, in my opinion. After getting depowered, he'll be able to feel all the pain that he's caused so many other people for once because he would have lost his durability and superpowers. That's what I care about. However they choose to do this is fine, but I want his actual defeat scene to feel human because that's what he is at the end of the day.
Alright, y'all. That's it. That's it for the video. Shout out to Johnathan here for the vid. Yeah, final thoughts. Man, holy shit, this is going to be a great finale. I can't wait to see it. They're playing it in theaters. I think I might just see it from home. Cause listen, bro, I gotta lock in. Cause I'm very curious how they're gonna take out Homelander, and that's if they can take out Homelander. Cause I think at this point he's just unbeatable. I think he's just unbeatable at this point. Yeah, it's gonna be very difficult to try to take him out, and I can't wait to see it. Best option, probably make another version of that power that Soldier Boy has to take away superpowers. That's probably the best option they got here, and give it to one of the boys, either Butcher or Kimiko. I think it's gonna be Kimiko personally. She'll have that power up and she'll be able to take away Soldier Boy's powers, also along with Homelander. And yeah, from there they'll defeat him. Just I think the old-fashioned way, they'll just beat his ass until he bleeds out, I guess. And this right here, this is also another theory of mine. Oh god, I think, yeah, that Oh man, like I said, bro, that would be so weird, bro. And I also think she's gonna be coming back. I think in one of these episodes, either 7 or 8, they're gonna somehow bring Stormfront back and be like, "Oh, she's still alive. She never committed suicide. She never killed herself." Because they've been mentioning Stormfront a lot in this season, so it wouldn't shock me that out of nowhere she pops up and it's like, "Hey, I'm back." But we'll see. We'll see what happens this Wednesday and next Wednesday for the last 2 episodes of the entire series. If you like my reaction, like, comment, subscribe, and come on over and join the MP fam. Love to hear from you guys. If you like my reaction I just did here to this video, I have more in the playlist. Check that out. And I also have a playlist of video games I played on this channel as well. Go check that out as well. Catch y'all later. See ya.